Hello, hello, beautiful artists. I can't wait for the master still life painter we're going to be studying today. So I discovered this artist whenever I was determined to get over my fear of painting roses and get better at painting roses. And when I discovered this artist's work, this master artist work, when in 2015, I think it was, maybe a little bit earlier than that, I was like, what? This artist is amazing. It was so, his paintings were so orgasmic, and I was just immediately like, how have I never heard of this artist? Literally, that's how I felt inside. I was so excited. I felt like my life had just changed because I discovered this artist. And drum roll, the artist is Frans Mortelmans. I know. Have you heard of him? I don't know. Maybe because I noticed once I started talking about Frans Mortelmans all the time, other people started talking about him all the time. So I just wanted to pick one of his roses paintings because that is how I found out about his work years ago. Frans Mortelmans. This is Pink Roses in a Basket, and he is, I believe, Belgian, Antwerp or Amsterdam. I can't remember which one. You can get a book of his paintings at, I believe it's the Frans Mortelmans Foundation. Let me see. Well, anyways, we don't have time for that. So Google Frans Mortelmans Foundation if you want to check out to see if you can get one of his books, a book of his work. It's actually still in the Mortelmans family. So when I got the book, I had to I don't know, Venmo the money or PayPal the money. And then, yeah. So I think now they have a way to check out on their website. So go and check out. You will not be disappointed. I mean, obviously we can get these gorgeous images online, but having the book is just priceless. I love having physical books still to this day of artist work because it's just so easy for me to go through and flip through and get some inspiration without having my face glued to a computer. Okay, this is a rose painting that I think he's pretty well known for. It's not necessarily the first one that I ever saw that I was like, oh my God, angels, shining down upon it. But God, is it gorgeous. This is so astonishingly gorgeous. And he was such a master of all floral, and he also did a lot of kitchen still lifes as well. He painted, figures of his wife in interiors. He was so good with painting interiors. So just such a remarkable artist. And they're just so alive. They're so alive. They're so brilliant. They're so just pulsating with energy in his paintings. I also just love his sense of texture, how he builds texture, how he builds glow in his that glowing light. Like, look at this glowing light here, glowing light here. And that is one thing that I learned by studying him and his roses, is how light passes through those petals, and petals that are further away from the rose are more translucent. And so you will get that beautiful glow of light. Oh, it's just astonishing. Oh my gosh, help. I can't even handle how beautiful this is. Every piece of this painting is just stunning, gorgeous. Okay, focus. Sometimes when paintings are so amazing and just knock me over, it's hard for me to even think straight to be able to analyze it. Maybe you can relate to that. One of the key things that I remember first realizing, which is a big compositional device that he often used, and so many artists have used, but he uses it in such a way that it just really, it really grabbed my attention. I really got it. I really understood for the first time how to use this technique, which is, I call it light reversals. Okay. I don't know what other people call it. That's just what I started calling it because that's what made sense to me. And so what that means is like having a dark in front of a light. Here you can see this leaf dark in front of light of the background. And then vice versa, having lights in front of darks, and then just layering reversal, light in front of dark, dark in front of light, light in front of dark. He's got, and that's such a effective way to get more depth in a still life where you have, very limited amount of space that you're dealing with. So this rose, being a light in front of the dark of the back rose here. I also, one big key element of his work that I took away from just abstractly, conceptually, I guess you might say, is how he massed things together. How he groups roses together, to create a larger mass of light. So, he wouldn't introduce like a cool pink rose in the middle of this mass. No way, Jose, that is not going to work. So he groups these cooler, darker pink roses towards the back and kind of, creates like this one unit for them. Somehow we still understand, of course, that they're roses, even though when you really look at these in isolation, they don't really look very rose-like, So I think that that's a big transition for artists as we're learning and as we're growing, is like learning like how much we can just suggest and leave to the imagination if we put the right amount of information in the right place. So the fact that he really put all of his effort and attention in really creating these roses, these beautiful garden roses, a little bit more in detail, up front and center, even like the sharpness of this leaf coming over the edge. And look how much he simplifies those leaves, you guys. We will definitely talk about Mortelmans again, that's for sure. This will not be the last time, promise you. Whether you like it or not. I could talk about Mortelmans all day long. But look how much he's simplifying the shape of this leaf, and how the leaf is just like one value. So again, that's shapes. He's such a master of shapes, like simplifying shapes, and then also introducing broken up shapes where needed to add in some variety. These leaves back here, very simple masses, left quite unfinished as they're further back in space, versus these. So I learned from his paintings on painting leaves that, if you have like a leaf that has that kind of, crease in the middle, the spine of the leaf, and it's creating a shadow, like don't paint it 500 different values, 2 values, one for the shadow plane and one value for the light plane. And then another thing I picked up from him, a little detail thing that I learned from him, is these little crisp lit edges on the leaves, right? So using a palette knife to create that little piece of light that's on the very, very tip of the leaf. He was somebody who's color a lot. I think, like myself, he really loved color, and he loved, using complementary colors, very rich colors, saturated colors. So, and obviously this one is like basically the red and green combination. Everything is in some shade of red and green or a neutral. But even like the neutrals here, like you can see a little bit of the, I don't know if I can zoom in here or not. You can see a little bit of the pink tone from the roses in the stone tabletop here. Zooming in here, you can see more of the texture. And again, this is obviously lead white. You just can't get that sense of texture. Even scumbling, I don't feel like you can get that sense of texture with titanium white. So I also love how the last thing I'll mention that I learned from him, and again, we'll revisit him again, but the last thing I'll mention I learned from him was putting more saturated color in the center of the rose, not on the outside of the rose. So kind of washing out the outside of the rose. Obviously, this kind of depends on the color of the rose that you're working with. And look, it's interesting how my Prosecco Rosé is almost the same color. But more saturated color in the center of the rose, more darker values in the center. And really, pulling out just a few key overlapping lights for the petals. So he's not keeping track of every petal. He's not painting every petal. He's just making this look like a painted rose. Another beautiful thing that he does is really not muddying up the shadows, or these aren't really shadows, but kind of these transition colors. He's obviously using some of his background color here to kind of get this sort of cool gray. It's not really this deep rich shadow, but it's kind of like that transition color. Same thing here, some of that cool gray here on the transition color. What else could I say about this painting? I mean, it's just so much beauty. Oh my goodness. The other thing is, like I say, just kind of suggesting the other background roses without doing too much work or too much effort on them. Definitely paying attention to the contour around the roses. Value structure wise, this is definitely light against the dark overall painting. Color strategy, red and green. Tons of movement. Focal point is very clear, front and center here on the main mass of roses, with so much extra juice added in through the rest of the painting to keep you coming back below. Okay. All right, beautiful artists. I hope that you have enjoyed this. Definitely go check out Frans Mortelmans, get inspired if he's new to you. If he's not new to you and you just haven't looked at him in a while, get inspired again by him, and study him and try to understand, what makes his paintings work. What is he doing that you're not doing, so that you can implement it into your paintings and elevate your work to the next level. It's obviously what this is all about, right? Like gaining more excellence and mastery and higher quality and more beauty into our art. And leave me a comment below if you have any works that you'd like me to look at, either still life or landscape. You can mention it below and I will definitely consider that. Okay. If you are not aware of studying with us in the Art Life School community, I highly recommend that you check it out. And I invite you to consider joining that, especially if you're looking to improve your still life painting or your landscape painting, and you want to belong to an amazing, inspiring community of artists. So that is set up on a monthly membership, or you can sign up by the year and save a couple of $100s that way. So go to artlifewithkelly.com and go check out the information, and I look forward to hearing from you. All right, happy painting, everybody. Bye for now.